Big hair, don't care. Hi, everybody. Hope you guys are doing great. So, a couple of things that have nothing to do with this video that I want to get out of the way. Both are food related. Thing number one is that I finally tried Buffalo Wild Wings cauliflower buffalo wings, and I used the hot sauce, which sounds so generic, but that's the flavor. It's called hot, versus say mango habanero or honey barbecue or whatever. It just says hot, and it was so good, even without ranch, which I personally had it with ranch, but even without ranch. And I've been wanting to try it for quite some time, but I think what kind of inspired me is that a friend of mine is going, like, she's on a vegan journey, and I had suggested that because I'd seen it before, of course. And so I was like, oh, they Buffalo Wild Wings, because we were talking about how hard it is to eat out when you're vegetarian. In my case, I was lacto-ovo vegetarian for many years, so I understand. But in her case, it's even more challenging because she is vegan. So, but we were talking about that. Anyway, so they were amazing. Even my mom enjoyed them. So highly recommended. We'll definitely get them again. The biggest complaint I have about them was the price. The price was like $12 for the small order, and that's really expensive for a small order, of cauliflower. Come on now. So that's one. Two, in one of my previous videos, it was the one where I was doing my weight loss journey anniversary slash update. I was wearing a pink hoodie and everything. I had mentioned that something good had happened to me that I wanted to talk about, and I couldn't remember what it was. So I'm going to do my best to articulate this and keep it short. It had to do with crumble cookies. This is from about a month ago now, something like that. I was co-parenting with my co-parent, my ex, and he had him and the kids in the car. We went to Crumble. We went to one location, and they were sold out of, it was when they had the Dubai brownie. Okay. They were sold out of the Dubai brownie. It was wildly popular. If you find the post on the Dubai brownie on the Crumble page, a lot of people are complaining because a lot of stores were sold out. And I ran into a sold out store. So I was so mad because I really wanted it, right? And so that didn't work out. Okay, cool. Then I noticed that they had it at another location that wasn't too far away. So I'd asked my baby daddy if he minded us going over there, and he was cool with it. So we went over there, and they had it, but the guy had initially thought that they didn't have it, like, because it was selling out everywhere, and so he thought it was gone, and he was like, oh, but I have the little ones, and I can give you the 3-pack of the little ones, instead of, the big one that I had bought. And I'm like, okay, but then I forget what happened, but like they realized they did have it. And so the guy was still going to give it to me. And I had asked him, I said, hey, is it okay to like switch out to a cheesecake or something like that? Since he was like, he was giving it to me, and I was going to give that to my ex because he does enjoy cheesecake. So I figured, okay, this will be for him. And he was like, and by the way, he was a gay black man, shout out, as nice as can be. I really appreciate him. And anyway, he gave it to me, and I ended up giving it to my ex, and he told me, oh, I want a snickerdoodle. And I'm thinking, okay, anyway, I'm kidding. But no, I'm sure he enjoyed it. And yeah, so I got my Dubai brownie that week, and it was super good. And I'm sure they're going to bring it back because of how wildly popular it was. So yeah, Dubai chocolate is delicious. Quick confession, I've seen it on TikTok Shop. That's where I first heard of Dubai chocolate. And I'm going to be honest, I have never really been tempted to buy it in the past prior to getting it in that brownie, because even though I like the idea of like chocolate and nuts and stuff, I love that. But it looked like something you would find in a baby's diaper who wasn't feeling good. I'm sorry, it did. It did. And it just grossed me out so much that I'm like, ain't no way I'm eating that. And then I had the Dubai brownie, and I since Dubai chocolate brownie. And then since then, I've been obsessed with Dubai chocolate, except I just get it from my local store. I haven't bought it from TikTok Shop. Um, let's see. I have so many things on my mind. One of the things I wanted to talk about, I wanted to tell like kind of a short story of something that happened to me. I'm going to do my best. So, this happened to me 11 years ago. It was when I was on my weight loss journey. That was the most successful weight loss journey I've ever had thus far. It started in 2014 and went into 2015. And then by 2016, I was just trying to keep my head above water and eventually would sink, it would regain a bunch of weight and everything. But about that, in 2014, I have told this story before. I lost 14 or 15 pounds. It was 14 pounds without trying, just by including seaweed in my diet. Cool. Then I started trying to lose weight, and I only managed to lose, I want to say something like 9 pounds or whatever. Okay. I think I went from 301.6 down to about the early 290s or something, like 292 or whatever. Anyway, I was in a plateau, and it lasted for what felt like forever. Like it was a few months into my journey, and I just was stuck. Well, what changed the tides for me was my mom. I lived with my mom then, and I live with my mom now. Anyway, my mom had to go out of town on a business trip to Maryland. Okay, so she was going to be gone for, I think, close to 3 weeks. And I do not drive, as I've mentioned in another story. I don't drive. Well, another video, I should say. I don't drive. And I would have been dependent on my brother, who I did not get along with. Okay. And when I don't get along with someone, I really don't want to come to them for help on anything. And I think most of us feel that way. So if I ran out of food, like I stockpiled food before she left, but if I ran out, and mind you, this was 11 years ago, this was before food delivery outside of pizza delivery was as popular, and there wasn't an overabundance of places to get food from in my area at that time. There was a Taco Bell in walking distance, but it was a long walking distance and stuff, whatever. So just the long and the short of it, I didn't want to have to rely on my brother. So I told myself, okay, you better make this food last. So I started eating less food. Turns out that was the problem. I was eating too much food. And that's why I wasn't losing weight. Like I would think, okay, I would pour a bowl of cereal, and I would think, oh, this is one serving. And I was probably eating 2 or 3 servings because, for the bowl that I was eating. And when I started measuring it out, I realized, wow, like a cup isn't that much, like, or 3/4 of a cup or a cup or whatever. That's not that much cereal, whatever. And so I was rationing out my food because I wanted it to last as long as possible to avoid having to ask my brother for a ride to anywhere. So, how did this go? I ended up losing a nice little chunk of weight. Like I want to say at least maybe 10 pounds or something during the time my mom was gone. And then when she got back, I can't give a direct quote, but it was something to the effect of she saw me, and she was like, I think she said something like, "You've lost weight." And then she said, "Are you starving yourself?" Mind you, I got down to the 280s. I went from the 290s to the